All right. Now on to question 4. Question 4 gives us a functions question. It says h of x is equal to 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x. Then it says determine the value of x for when the function is undefined. Now this function is undefined when the denominator is 0. So 5 minus x equals 0, and so the function is undefined when x equals 5. All right, so if you want, you can give them a proper statement to just tell them that the function is undefined when x equals 0. The function h of x is undefined when x is equal to 5. So that's if you want to give them a proper statement. All right, now the next part it now asks us to do, it says find an expression for h inverse of x. So first thing, you're going to interchange x and h. When you interchange h, it becomes h inverse. So x is equal to 2h inverse plus 3 over 5 minus h inverse. That's step 1, over 5 minus h inverse. After you interchange them, the next thing that you're going to do is cross multiply. All right, because we want to make h inverse the subject. So by cross multiplying, you're going to get 5 times x, and then x times minus h inverse is minus x h inverse, and that's equal to 2h inverse plus 3. That's equal to 2h inverse plus 3. Now that we know that this is what we have, we want to make h inverse the subject. To make h inverse the subject, we need to have h inverse on one side. So I'm going to bring this x h inverse over here and bring the 3 over here. So it's going to become 5x. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides to get 5x minus 3 is equal. I have 2h inverse. And then I'm going to, as I said, I was bringing over xh inverse over here to get plus xh inverse. Now it's easy to make h inverse a subject, because over here we can factor out h inverse now, and we're left back with, in this bracket, 2 plus x. We're left back with, in this bracket, 2 plus x. And that is equal to 5x minus 3. And so basically done now. In order to make h inverse the subject, all you need to do is divide both sides by 2 plus x. So in conclusion, when we divide both sides by 2 plus x, we see that, let me stay consistent since I had h inverse on the right side. Just to keep it consistent, we see that 5x minus 3 over 2 plus x, 5x minus 3 over 2 plus x, we see that that is equal to h inverse of x. That is how we do this question. Nice and easy. This gives us h inverse of x. Nice and easy, soft. H inverse of x is 5x minus 3 over 2 plus x. That takes care of that. Easy business. Nice. Now, they give us a graph, and they say, the graph below shows a straight line intersecting the x and y axis. Using the graph, determine the gradient of the line. To determine the gradient of the line, we need 2 points on the line. I always like to use where it cuts the y-axis, where it cuts the x-axis to find gradient. So this point, as we can see, x is 5 and y is 0. That's that point. And on the x-axis, this look like 3, 4. So x is 0 and y is 4. So now we can find the gradient of the line. I like to call the gradient m. I like to call the gradient m. So the gradient m is equal to y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is 0, over x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is minus 5. And so the gradient is, that looks like negative 4 over 5. All right, that's the gradient of this line, negative 4 over 5. Nice and easy, soft. Now they ask us for the equation of the line. Now the equation of the line is, remember the equation of a line is y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. If y is equal to mx plus c, we should all remember that m represents gradient. And we just found the gradient, and so y is equal to the gradient, which is minus 4 over 5x, minus 4 over 5x plus c. But what is c? C is the y-axis intercept. It cuts the y-axis at 4. And so this is minus 4 over 5x plus 4. Nice and easy, soft. All right. Now this question says, find the equation of the perpendicular line that passes through P. So guys, you have some perpendicular line that passes through P. I like to always draw a sketch. Perpendicular means a line looks something like this. This is the perpendicular line passing through P. It looks something like this. All right, and perpendicular line, what do we know about perpendicular lines? When two lines are perpendicular, then the product of their gradient is -1. The product of their gradient is -1. All right, so if the product of their gradient is -1, then let's call this line, I don't know, let's call this perpendicular line bisector for P. So I'm going to call this line B. I'm calling this line B. All right. So to find the equation of the line, we first need the gradient of that line. So the gradient of that line B is equal to, it's equal to -1 over the gradient of the original line that we have. So it's -1 over -4 over 5. How do I know that? Because guys, the product of the two gradients, the product of the gradient of two lines that are perpendicular is -1. And so the gradient of this new line is -1 over -4 over 5. And so that is going to give us 5 over 4. All right. So pretty much what I'm saying, anytime you have a line, let's say you have this line. This line has a gradient of 3. Then another line, if this line has a gradient of 3, then this line will have a gradient of -1 over 3. All right. The product of the two of them has to be -1. Has to. All right. So when you multiply 5 over 4 times -4 over 5, that should give you -1. So this is the gradient of the perpendicular line. Now guys, once you have the gradient of the line, we know y equal mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. All right. Now, there's a formula to find. It passes through the point P. Remember, the point P is, I think the point P is 50. The point P is 50, yes. The point P is 5, 0. All right. So this is the formula that you use to find the equation of a line passing through a point. It is y minus yp, and that's equal to the gradient of the line into x minus xp. All right, y minus yp into the gradient of the line into x minus xp. All right, this is the formula to find the equation of a line passing through a point. So it's going to be y minus, y value here is 0, and that's equal to the gradient 5 over 4 times the x value at the point is 5, so it's going to be x minus 5. All right, you expand this bracket now. Y minus 0 is just y, and so y is equal to 5 over 4 times x. And then you have minus 5 times minus 5 over 4 is minus 25 over 4. And that is how you do this easy question. Soft. Nice and easy. All right? Nice and easy.